I swear to God when I come home, I'm gonna hold you so close. I swear to God when I come home, I'll never let go. Like a river I flow to the ocean. I know that you pull me close, guiding me home. And I need you to know that we're falling so fast. We're falling like the stars, falling in love. And I'm not scared to say those words. With you I'm safe. We're falling like the stars, we're falling in love. I swear to God I can see 4 kids and no sleep. We'll have one on each knee, you and me. And when they've grown up, you're still the girl you look love. When I held your hair up, 'cause you had too much. And I need you to know that we're falling so fast. We're falling like the stars, falling in love.
If I'm being honest, when we first got together, 15 years old, I didn't give much thought to what the future might hold for us. However, every year since then, that has slowly changed to the point where I can't think of any path in life be better for spending the rest of my life with you. Like any long-term relationship, we had our fair share of ups and downs, but I can honestly say that each year our relationship and love has grown stronger and stronger, and I've grown happier and happier. And because you've given me so much, I wanted to take the opportunity to tell you exactly what I intend to give back to you. I promise to never take you or the life you have built together for granted. I promise to truly listen and learn from what you have to say. I promise I'll remain as weird as I am today. And while I can't promise that at times we won't bicker or argue, I promise I'll always respond with my puppy eyes and a groveling apology. You'll hear it's always never wrong. And most importantly, I promise to love you every day for who you are, who you have been, and who you're going to become.
Ollie, we're here today having already lived so much of our lives together. If you had told a 15 and 16-year-old Ollie and Saul that 13 years later you'd be stood here getting married, Having built a perfect life together, I don't think either of us would have believed it. A love like ours is rare. We've grown up together and now we get to grow old together. You've stood by you when life felt heavy and you've celebrated with me when days were bright. Thank you for taking me as I am, for being my number one fan, best friend and personal chef. You're so wonderfully weird and what an honour it is to do life with you. You're my rock, my safe space, my home. I promise to never take for granted the fun we have doing even the most mundane, simple things. And I promise to let you win an occasional argument, even if I'm right. Above all, I promise to love you unconditionally through the good times and the bad. No matter what we face, I know we'll get through it together, and there is no one I'd rather share this life with.
I'm 1,000 miles from home, never on my own, when you whispered down the phone. Well, I guess we never saw this coming, halfway around the world calling, but I just want you to know that I'd have all I need if you were standing right in front of me. I'll finally see what it means to be complete. Don't need to spend our life chasing gold. Anywhere with you I'll call my home. Oh, I'd have all I need if you'd be the better half of me.
Well, it's nice to see you all, and thank you all for coming today. For those who don't know me, I've just been introduced, but my name is Andrew, and I'm the proud father of the bride. In fact, I'm the proud father of 3 very formidable daughters, plus 1 very formidable wife. So you might guess that I'm a little nervous standing here because I'm not used to the opportunity of being able to talk without being interrupted or corrected. I'll keep things brief so I won't push my luck. On behalf of myself and Tracy, and also Ollie's parents, Bart and Ed, I'd like to thank you all for coming today and to celebrate Victoria and Ollie's wonderful day. I know many of you have travelled a long way, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank also all those who helped in bringing this occasion about. That's very much appreciated as well. Thank you. Now, it's traditional to tell a few stories about the bride, but I'd like to start by saying how beautiful Victoria looked today. And I'd have to say, as a proud father, it was one of the best times of my life to be walking down the aisle today. For those of you who know Victoria, you'll be aware of her many talents. She's formidably clever, got a wicked sense of humour, a temper to match. She also possesses an impressive, and some would even say, Olympian ability to consume alcohol. But beneath the fun-loving exterior is a tenacity and depth of character forged from a place of real strength. As many of you know, Victoria lost her mother Janet at a very young age. To see her resilience to face this tragedy and go on to become the remarkable woman she is today is a great source of pride. Just like myself and Tracy, I know her mum Janet is looking down on her today and bursting with pride. We all couldn't be prouder. I'd now like to welcome Ollie to the family. I'd have to say we liked Ollie from the very first time we met him and introduced him to whiskey. Needless to say, it was initiation of the family, and Ollie passed with flying colours. I'd have to say, as a precaution now, I hide away all the quality whiskies whenever Ollie thinks he's going to visit us. In fact, the more we got to know Ollie, we realised he excels at almost everything he does, sometimes with an alarming determination. First class degree at Sussex, rugby for Newbury, golf, tennis. Hey, he told me this, sorry. Cooking, beach games, you name it, he excels at it. And recently, so he tells me, bowls. Very annoying. But in all seriousness, Ollie is a generous, sincere and considerate person. He's fitting well with our family and we're delighted to have him as a son-in-law. Bart and Ed, you must be very proud. My only piece of advice to Ollie going forward in the marriage would be not to forget your wedding anniversary. You forget it once and you remember it for the rest of your life. Please raise your glasses and join me in a toast to the bride and groom, Victoria and Ollie.
Well, I want to start by thanking Andrew for that lovely speech. I think I got off fairly lightly there, but I still have Georges to come, so hold that thought. But first of all, I want to thank and welcome everyone for making the effort today. You know, I appreciate a random Thursday in Herefordshire. It's a bit out of the way for everyone, so we do really appreciate everyone for being here today. I want to start by thanking a few people that have travelled from afar. So starting from furthest away and working backwards, I want to shout out Laura, who's come from Queenstown, New Zealand. We've got Paige, the maid of honour, who's come from Sydney, Australia. We've got Mikkel from Copenhagen with a newborn baby at home, so massive effort, Mikkel, thank you very much. We've got the Desmet family from Belgium and Ghent. And we've got Scott from Rotterdam. And Max from Lille as well, from France. And thanks for making the effort. I wanted to thank George, the best man, for organising an unreal stag do as well in Bulgaria, skiing. I appreciate it's quite a lot of effort organising a big trip for 10 lads abroad, so yeah, you did a cracking job. Although I can't remember too much, I do remember we had a great time and it was very well and organised and nice and smooth, so thanks George. Wanted to thank Paige and Tessa as well for helping to organise Tours Hendu. I think you guys put a lot of thought into it and I know she had an amazing time, so thank you for that as well. Shout out to Tracy as well for helping organising the day, especially the crisp ball, which we're going to see in a bit, so thank you for that. And all the kids' goodie bags as well, so thank you for that. And a massive shout out to Callum, the videographer for the day. You've done George's wedding, you've done ours. It's such a big help. We'll have those memories for a lifetime. So thank you, Kaza. And one more last shout out to the second main event after tour for the day, and that's the birthday girl Isla Grace. Big shout out. Isla turned 6 today, so yeah, it's basically your birthday party, Isla. So well done.
Great party.
But getting on to the main part, I wanted to just start by thanking the Tallis family for welcoming me into your home. I'd say I was quite a shy and nervous 15-year-old when I first started going round. Andrew, Andrew, you'd always be cracking jokes that went straight over my head, and I kind of just stare blankly back at you, not really getting the vibe until a few years in. But over the years, I think we bonded over our love of a drink, talking politics. Somehow we always end up having the opposite opinion on almost everything, but it's always tongue-in-cheek, and we love to have a debate. Tracy, you've always been amazing to me. You know, you've made me feel really welcome in your home. I hold your advice on everything in really high regard, and there's nothing better than getting a text from Tracy on a Saturday or Sunday morning asking if we want to come round for a roast. It's always greatly appreciated by an often hungover me and Tor. So, thanks, Tracy. Izzy and Soph, you're pretty much like little sisters to me. I think Soph, you would have been about 3 or 4, and Izzy about 7 when I first started going out tour. And Izzy, some of the one-liners you come out with or have done over the years absolutely cracked me up. It's been wonderful to see you develop into a really kind and caring person these last few years, and becoming a bit of an academic superstar as well at university in the last year. So, I think most of my texts to you are either ignored or you just take the piss. You just take the piss out of me, but I think that's a good indication of how close we are. We love winding each other up and being competitive, and to be honest, I'm reluctantly awaiting the day when you start to beat me at everything, but not quite there yet. So I've got to try a bit harder till we get there. And then Tor's 3 older brothers, Ben, Will, Dave. Again, fairly intimidating meeting you all when I first got around, and probably that first Christmas when we just sat around watching football all day, which is nice. But over the years, you know, we've grown into good friends. So yeah. Big thanks to the Tallises for inviting me into their family. Moving on to my family, just want to thank Mum and Dad for always supporting me and being there for me no matter what. Dad, you're always there to help. You know, whenever you came to visit in Bristol, you know, you'd have your toolbox in hand. I wouldn't really have to say anything, you just set about fixing stuff without me really even having to ask. You're the person I go to whenever I want advice about anything, whether it's DIY, life, career, and I appreciate your knowledge and the fact that you're always there to help. Mum, again, you're always there for me no matter what, you know. Any favour I need that I know no one else will accept, I come to Mum. You know, you've taken me and Tor to Heathrow in the middle of the night. You've given us lifts from the pub when we've been there a bit too long, and you always come and feed Polly whenever we ask. But you've welcomed Tor into your family like one of your own as well, so, you know, I really appreciate that as well, and I can always count on you when I need to. Ella, you've been the best sister a younger brother could ask for. When I was younger, I felt like a celebrity when I was around you, because you taught me up so much when we were friends. But you've always had my back, and I know you always will. And you smashed it as Master Ceremony today as well, so thank you. Now, it's time to talk about the main event. We're all here, the reason we're all here, and that's my wife, Tor. So, Tor, when we first met at the young age of about 12, I was fairly intimidated by what I saw. You know, you were confident, popular, good-looking, where I was kind of shy, lanky, and a bit awkward. But over the first few years of secondary school, we slowly became good friends, but it took a while before we grew into something more. In year 8, you actually rejected my advances via text. And I only found out that you were going out with my good friend Joey over here. He's now happily married, might I add, during an afternoon headers and volley session at Stroud Green Park. Safe to say, I was devastated, but it didn't stop me having the most awkward semi-relationship with the maid of honour page over there. So that's just a bit of a small insight into the weirdly insular friendship group we have, but there we go. But once we got together, we quickly formed a strong bond that has been growing ever since. Going to separate universities was tough and we struggled with the distance, but what kept us together was the knowledge that when we did see each other every 4 to 6 weeks, we had such a good time together that every ounce of doubt was quickly extinguished. Once we moved together in Bristol, I quickly realised how strong and determined you were. I knew you worked hard, but watching you spend about 8 to 10 hours a day studying made me realise how determined you were, and I'm genuinely in awe of your ability to work hard and succeed in your career. We also experienced COVID together, which while a tragic time brought us closer together, I think spending 24 hours together in a small one-bedroom flat for the best part of a year is probably a good litmus test of any relationship, and I'm glad to say we held up fairly well. Throughout the year, we had our cheese and wine stage, all the Clifton delis. We had our party stage where we just get drunk in the flat. We had our fitness stage where we try and do Pilates, but I would just end up giving up and you'd be, carry on. And we had our driving stage where we relearned how to drive, and which ended up with me getting the car stuck on a wall, but a story for another day. But I think throughout all of that and to this day, one key reason for our longevity, and this might sound a bit weird, is how opposite we are. I believe that every weakness I have is an area of strength for you. I'm a bit of an overthinker and not very good at communication, whereas you are decisive and always say how you feel. I'm a bit of a dreamer and an idealist, whereas you're more of a realist and a pragmatist. I'm pretty bad with money, whereas you're really good with it. But I think in all these attributes, we complement each other so well that we have all the bases covered. And I think a large part of why we work so well is due to that. Our yin and yang approach means we always end up at a fair and reasonable outcome. That being said, one area we do have in common was with humour. Even after all these years, I'm always impressed by our ability to make each other laugh and not take life too seriously. I think I'm admittedly quite a lot to handle and fairly annoying, everyone always says. And a lot of friends and family have puzzled over how you've put up with me. So I just wanted to say thank you for putting up with me and agreeing to put up with me for the rest of your life. No backing out now. So, but being serious for a second, I love how comfortable we are with each other. I love how I can be my true self around you, and I'm only probably my true self around you. I love how you approach life with an unapologetic authenticity and you don't care what anyone else thinks. I love how thoughtful and caring you are to those that are close to you, and I love that every year we spend together is better than the year before. There is also one special person who couldn't be with us today, and that's your mum, Janet. Looking down on you now, I know she'd be so proud to see the woman you've become, and she'd be so happy to see the love and friendship you have around you. I really do know that I'm so lucky to have you, and I can honestly say it's the happiest I've ever been. So before I get a bit emotional, can everyone pick up their glass and raise a toast to many more happy years ahead of us and to my wife before.
Tough act to follow. Right, so for those who don't know me, I'm George. Hey George! And Ollie's best man, and I'm in the unique and fortunate position of not only being best mates of Ollie for the past 15 years, also being good friends with Tor for the past 25. Having known them both for such a long time, I've literally grown up with Tor and seen her grow as the intelligent, successful and fun-loving person you'll see before us today. I've also spent far too much time with Ollie over the years and have watched him grow from a slightly odd, as he said himself, to be fair, hyperactive, spaniel-like teenager into a slightly odd, hyperactive, maybe more Labrador-like man. Maybe now with more back hair, but a far wider variety of beige chinos. So for those who spend much time with Ollie or listen to either of their vows, you know that he's always been a brilliantly unique individual with a number of great traits. An unrivaled enthusiasm for almost everything he throws himself into, combined with a very relaxed outlook on life, making him great fun to be around and often providing entertainment for all, his clumsy nature, sort of crashing into everything, breaking stuff absolutely everywhere he goes. However, unfortunately, Ollie's relaxed outlook on life has also slowly trickled into a self-care routine. It has led to him becoming a self-professed anti-hygiene activist. From a young age, Ollie proudly coined the phrase, hygiene is a man-made construct, and has lived by it ever since. From licking a dead hedgehog at school for 50p.
Did happen.
Five, apparently, so it's five. So even more recently, with his post-pub ritual, sort of few beers, kebab in arm, stumbling home, opens the door, crashes through the door, and before eating his kebab, he gets completely naked so that he can eat it on the sofa and just devour it like an absolute caveman without risking it getting all over his clothes. However, luckily for Ollie, as you can see, he's quite stallion. He's built like a brick shithouse and is annoyingly good at almost every sport he puts his mind to. In fact, the only competitive activity I can consistently beat Ollie at is poker, which is a very sad and damning indictment of the disparity in our sporting. That's enough of that. Ollie's sporting prowess led to being the best at pretty much every sport in our year in school, which meant that somehow, in spite of his obvious flaws, he was able to blag himself a girlfriend. With a young tour full of optimism that this hunky junkyard was the right man for a lifelong dream of becoming a rugby whack. It's never materialised as a project manager. It's never materialised, and with Ollie's peak athleticism and prime years behind him, towards last remaining hope of achieving WAG status, as Andrew's already mentioned, is now solely reliant on reaching Team GB's indoor bowls team. I've seen him play, and I've got high hopes for Heaven team. Now, in complete contrast, unsurprisingly with Tor, it's a far more sophisticated affair. I've spent hours trying to think of embarrassing stories over the years, but it's clearly a class of birds. They never seem to disgrace themselves, making a perfect yin to poor old Ollie's chaotic gang. Over the years, I've spent a lot of time with Tor. We went to the same primary school, we shared the same childminder, and I don't mean to steal any of Ollie's thunder or take anything away from the first dance that all of us are very much looking forward to seeing later on. But Ollie's real first dance was actually shared with me. Dressed up as Tudors at a year 4 school trip to Upton Court. But in all seriousness, seeing Ollie and Tor together for my entire adult life, it's clear to see how you made it work so long and how well suited you are for each other. Tor's passion for being wine and dines personally compliments Ollie being in complete control freak when it comes to cooking. Tor's also the only person that would be willing to shave Ollie in the areas he can't reach himself. Despite my very best attempts building up to today, Tor still wouldn't share Ollie's infamous and elusive "He Wants to Be a Millionaire" application video. Which is a great representation of their shared work that they all agree to. A great example of this was when a very hungry owl felt they needed 3 servings of his favourite sausage and mash ready meal at the supermarket. Much to Tor's dismay, leading him to storming out of the supermarket and leaving him at the checkout abandoned. To be fair, I was glad when I saw what was on the menu today. I was glad to see it wasn't shared between tables. We'd all been toast, all of us, because he's a greedy, greedy boy. Ollie's excess isn't limited to food, and it's something it takes with him into all his various ventures. He's never run a half marathon, but competes in 100-kilometre ultramarathons for some reason. Even this morning, when me and Ollie had to get up at the crack of dawn, make ourselves scarce whilst Tor and the girls got ready, I was looking forward to a nice little stroll in the countryside with my good mate Scott. There you are. Thank you. Made a good brekkie, but I only planned a nice 15k hike for us through the trenches. So there'll be no hooting from me, so thanks for that, mate. Even when Ollie was living in Canada, he would get up before all of his housemates at the crack of dawn, go downstairs and partake in intensive pool tournaments against himself. Representing both sports and stripes and keeping a detailed spreadsheet tally of which team came out on top. So you knew, when he was up against someone else, you knew which team to represent. And even more recently, when Ollie very briefly reignited his rugby career, he would get up at 5 a.m, head torch on, rucksack full of gear, head to the local park, set up a load of cones and practice a rugby step against imaginary defenders. All before last year, a single gap in the Newbury second stick. After realising that adults, after the game, you all had to shower together. Ollie's excessive determination to be the best is an admirable trait, and it's something that's led to him being hugely successful in a number of ways. However, on a very rare occasion, even Ollie can be out-excessed, and his grit and determination can come back to bite him. A great example of this was the boys' trip to Devon a few years ago. Against our good mate Scott, shout out Scott! Ollie begrudgingly admitted defeat at about 8 a.m. We then dragged a very tired and hungover Ollie to the beach shortly after that. And Ollie being Ollie, after not coming out on top, he was really battling some inner demons and he needed some very deep self-reflection. For a solo surf, whilst the rest of us just relaxed on the beach in our armchairs and had a couple of beers. Fair enough. After a very short surf, I think the previous night's endeavours started to catch up with him. His stomach started to churn, he started to feel a bit queasy. So what he did, he scurried back, stripped his wetsuit off, and off he scurried to the local public toilets, which happened to be pretty far away. After what felt like a very, very, very long wait, we eventually all turned to see a man, the shell of his former self, ambling back towards us with his head down, sort of dragging his feet like this, like a kid who's just lost his favourite toy. And when I mentioned reaching us, Ollie informed us that he, in fact, didn't make it to the public amenities. Shat himself en route. And heard a young girl shout, "Mummy, poo!" As the evidence drips all the way down his car.
Worst day of my life.
I think it was his birthday. Even all of us bemused how poor old Cora was But in all seriousness, Tor's willingness to put up with Ollie's weird, wonderful, and on occasion disgusting ways is a true testament of a loyalty, and a sense of humour, and a fully unconditional love for Ollie. You're both definitely the mum and dad of our friendship group, with Ollie planning absolutely everything, enabling the rest of us to sort of just passenger princess our way through, which is great. And Tor's there to keep him in line to make sure he doesn't go too obscure with the plans. I honestly can't wait to see what the future holds for you both, and it comforts me knowing that as we grow older and things change, we'll all continue being best mates, because even at the grand old age of 28, Tor reliably informs me that Ollie still calls my name out in his sleep. Which is both endearing and kind of creepy. I'll take it. I'll have to tell me all this dreams are one day. All jokes aside, it's clear for everyone to see how happy you both make each other. You've literally always been each other's person units at school. And I can't imagine two people better suited for each other. I couldn't be happy for you both, and it's honestly a privilege to stand here and see two of my best mates get married. So if you could all please join me in standing, raise your glass. Mr. and Mrs. Cooper.
It's like a type of alchemy.
but I just want you to know that I'd have all I need. You were standing right in front of me.